Hey guys, Sovereign Saurus here. Welcome to a new video. Today I have 3 new sovereigns. Now they're just bullion sovereigns, there's nothing particularly special about them, obviously, other than them being nearly 1/4 ounce of gold. But in terms of the years themselves, Millennium was pretty cool, but in terms of sovereigns, they're just bullion sovereigns, and that's what we bought them for. So I picked up 3 different dates that I didn't already have, just because I could. There was, various years on offer, and I just wanted to pick up 3 that day. So that's what we've ended up with. I am kind of half looking at doing a date run of sovereigns. So there are 200 years, or 205 years now, of the modern sovereign. Not every single year was minted though. So there's probably something like 140, 150 different years you could have. I suppose you could increase that if you added mint marks and things like that. But just in terms of the dates, some are going to be pretty hard to get hold of, and the pre-Victoria ones, you're unlikely to get those at anywhere near a bullion price unless they're heavily worn. So it's a work in progress, and maybe we'll get there one day. It's good to have goals. So I do still buy best value sovereigns, but just if there is that option to pick out at a certain date, then I might do. So we'll see where that goes, but it could escalate pretty quickly. We are getting close to 100 sovereigns, and that will be a pretty cool goal to achieve. Just like I say, waiting for a good opportunity to buy at the moment. The prices obviously went up earlier in 2022, so whereas you could buy bullion sovereigns between sort of £320, £330, the price jumped up to sort of 360 to maybe 380 at times. So we'll just see where that goes. Because of the gold price being priced in US dollars and not pounds, obviously when we buy in the UK we're buying in pounds, but the international spot price is in dollars. So when the pound is getting beaten up by the dollar's being quite strong, it actually means that the gold price for us doesn't drop that much. So on one hand, we're kind of insulated from big moves in the dollar. In big moves in the gold price, as long as the dollar doesn't move too much. And you often find that the dollar gets stronger when perhaps gold is dipping. So not to go on too much about that, but the one point I did want to make today was when you look at the increase in the price of gold, so how much we're paying for our gold at the moment, it doesn't actually change my average cost that much. So, for example, when the price went up from around £330 for a sovereign to around 360, 370, if I was to buy, 5 sovereigns at that newer price, it wouldn't bring the whole average of the stack up much. It's literally bringing the whole stack average up by a couple of pounds. Now, long run, I obviously hope that my cost average goes up on my stack. So, whilst that might seem counterintuitive, ideally you want your cost average to be low, and therefore if spot price is higher, you're sat in more profit, or more potential profit, you're sat in equity. But if the average cost of your stack is going down in the long run, then that must mean the gold price is going down in the long run. So in the long term, I do want my stack, I'd be happy if my cost average is, £400 or £500 a sovereign. In that sense, because that means that the gold price must have gone up a hell of a lot for me to have brought my average up to that area. So yeah, we all like cheap gold to buy and expensive gold to sell, but in the long run, I hope the gold price does appreciate and at least maintain its buying power. So that's the trick with inflation. If your number, the figure of your, let's say your wages, it might go up from, say it goes from 100 to 110 in a few years. That's all good on paper, it sounds like you're making more money. But if your expenses are going up by 20,000, maybe they've gone up 20%, whereas your income only went up by 10%, you're actually worse off. So, all things being equal, we will probably see the gold price averaging up in the long run, if history is anything to go by. But who knows? If the price were to collapse and gold was worthless and people are just chucking it on the street and nobody's picking it up, then sat on a bit of useless gold. Oh no. I can't personally see that happening, but you never know. The main thing is I'm not relying on gold to keep me alive and feed me. You know, hopefully it'll be a nice supplement one day, but if it doesn't, not the end of the world. Gold for me is just, you know, a small portion of my long-term savings. Lastly, just want to point out, obviously with the higher gold prices, you are paying more for the same coin that you were a few months ago, and that does seem like a negative thing. You know, the temptation is to hang on and see if it comes back down, and whilst you don't want to be going all in on one particular day, I think if you spread out your purchases over the whole year, so maybe you buy twice a month and you buy a similar amount each time, then over the whole year you're going to be exposed to 24 different prices, or if you're buying once a month, you know, 12 different prices, and therefore that should help to even out any spikes. You know, what are the chances that you could buy once a month and every single time end up buying the very top of the market? Even if you were trying to do that, you know, it'd be difficult. And if you were trying to again buy at the very lowest point of the market, again it would be difficult. So what I would say is, when you have a purchase coming up, you know, if you are intending to make a purchase perhaps at the end of the month and you see gold drop down 2 or 3% over a couple of days, then yeah, maybe make your purchase a few days early. But you know, if it's just moved by like $10 an ounce, yeah, nothing to get too excited about. You know, just keep on those average purchases, and I think in the long run we'll all do okay. So I hope you enjoyed the video. Sovereign Saurus.